G'day guys, welcome back to Drumming with Jack. Now in today's lesson, we're going to be looking at an absolute classic of a song. We're looking at the Red Hot Chili Peppers' Californication. We're going to break the drums down into 5 different steps where at the beginning we're playing just the basic groove and we work our way all the way up to what he's playing in the song. Now the drums in this song don't sound super crazy or really complicated, but to be able to play this groove well, it's all about the subtlety and the ghost notes and the feel that you put into the groove. And the Red Hot Chili Peppers drummer, Will Ferrell, if there's one thing he's good at, it's exactly that. Now let's kick this off with the fundamental underlying groove of the song. So the fundamental groove is really pretty straightforward. It's straight on the 1, on the 2, and then all you do is play the second kick drum on the and of 3 instead of on the 3, and then snare drum on the 4. Now in step 2, we're going to bring it a little bit closer to the groove that he's playing, and we're going to add the 2/16 notes on the snare drum. And these 2 snare drum notes we play on the of 2 and the E of 3. And now what give this groove the kind of choppy offbeat feel in the middle of the bar, that dum dum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba. Now, so you're aware, these are actually played in the groove of the song as ghost notes, but because this is only level 2, we're just going to get used to the coordination of where we're playing notes. So we're just going to keep them as full notes on the snare drum. But once we get to level 5, we'll be playing them as ghost notes. So just keep that in mind as you're playing this. And if you want to start trying to play them with a little bit less power, then go ahead and do that. Here it is. So you can see how much difference just those 2 notes made in making a fundamental groove sound a lot more like the song. Now in level 3, we're going to add in the snare drum 32nd note pair, or the roll, that happens right at the end of the bar leading into the 1. So this is just a drag with your snare drum hand while you're playing the groove, where you just play a pair of notes as you would if you were playing the drag rudiment, right at the end of the bar before you lead into the 1. Now these 2 notes are ghost notes when he plays them in the song, so keep that in mind. We'll stick to them as ghost notes straight off in level 3 because it should be a lot easier for you to play 2 softer notes when you're playing 2 notes as a drag. So we've got the 2/16 notes we added in the last step, and now we've got 2 ghost notes, a drag right at the end of the bar leading into the 1. Let's have a go at that. So we've got to that point where if you can play that, if you can reach step 3, you can basically play through this song and no one would ever know the difference. The only people who would be able to pick it up if you were playing that along to this song, the only people that would pick it's not exactly what he plays would be drummers who've played this song before. So that right there is a perfectly acceptable way to play along to this song. Moving on to step 4. Now what we're going to do is add another ghost note, 16th note, on the E of 2 directly after we play the snare drum note on the 2. So the feel or the sound you're trying to get when you're playing this note is almost like it's an echo of the snare drum note that we play at full volume on the 2. And this note as a ghost note also leads into the next 2 snare drum notes, which we've been playing at full volume up till now. But for this next step, for step 4, we're going to turn them into how they're played in the song as ghost notes. So you can see the pattern there. You play the snare drum on the 2, and then you have 3 ghost notes played in between the hi-hat 8th notes, all in a row. So that's what I'm talking about with it sounding a bit like an echo. You almost want to get the first ghost note on the E of 2, the loudest of the 3, but still noticeably different from the snare drum on the 2, and then you want it to tail off. So you're almost getting that echo sound like ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba. And to be honest, if you're tackling that ghost note on the E of 2, it's going to be easier to play the following 2 notes as ghost notes as well, rather than trying to go back to full volume. So that's the changes for step 4. We're going to add in the ghost note and we're going to swap those next 2 notes from full notes to ghost notes as well. Let's give it a go. And there you go. If you can play that, if you can hit step 4, you are playing every note in its correct position as he plays it in the song. So then what are we going to do for step 5? Well, step 5 is where we're going to focus on what I talked about right back at the start, which is the subtlety and the feel of this groove. So this is where we've got the cone, we've got the ice cream, we've got the chocolate bar down the middle. Now we're just going to put the little sprinkles on top just to get it perfect. And what we're going to change is what we're doing on the hi-hats. We're not going to change from 8th notes. We keep the 8th notes, but what we're going to do is accent the quarter notes and play the notes in between a little bit softer. So you'll have on the 1, you'll have a loud note, and then you'll have a softer note on the and. 2 loud and, 3 and, 4 and, 1 and, 2. Almost like your push-pull method, where you're playing 1 as a downstroke and 1 as an upstroke. So you're changing the sound of the hi-hats from this to this. And that is exactly what he's doing in the song. And if you go back and you listen to it, you'll notice it. You might not register it at first, but I'm sure you'll feel it. And now that you know that you're looking for it, you'll definitely hear it. But it's most noticeable on the 3, because on the 3, we're playing a note on the hi-hat and nothing else. So you can really hear that louder note that he's playing on the hi-hat on the 3 between those snare drum ghost notes. And doing this is not a huge change. It's not even something you would really put into the notation, because you don't want it to be so much that it's an accented note and a ghost note. It's just a subtle change that you do, playing with that kind of pulsing feeling on the hi-hat, just to add a bit more feel into the groove. So from step 4 to step 5, the notation doesn't even change. You're playing exactly what you did in step 4, but this time you want to be playing that pulsing, push-pull kind of feel on the hi-hat. All right, well, that is the last step, so let's have a go. And that's it. That is the entire song. So 5 different levels that you can work your way through to build up to playing the drums exactly as they are in Californication. I'd love to know how far you can get. So if you do have a go at this on your own kit, make sure you drop me a comment and let me know what level you're up to or whether you're in between 2 of the levels. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I really appreciate it. Like the video and I'll see you on the next one.